The recording has started. We are officially in AO 2026 pre-hours. If you can see my face and see my partner in crime's face, this is Myles from Tuned Into Tennis, and I'm joined by...
Hello, everyone. It's Tony from the Gay Tennis Podcast. Thanks for having me, Myles.
Of course, I'm glad we can put our heads together once again. I am in my purple chair. It's not really purple, but I'm inspired by the woman that used to always sit in the purple chair, Miss Wendy Williams herself, and I'm ready to talk about all things Australian Open 2026 with you. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling in the very early Aussie swing, and boom, we're in the middle of a Grand Slam almost? How are you digesting all of that?
I can't believe it's almost the first slam. You know, you mentioned it earlier when I texted you and told you I'm a little bit under the weather again. By the way, I have already picked up some of the vitamins that you texted me because I was just sick at Thanksgiving.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, and I am a little bit sick right now. I can't believe it. Like 5 weeks later, I'm kind of sick again. Not nearly as bad, but so like you said on our text, I'm giving a little bit 2015 Serena. I'm hacky, I'm coughing, I'm a little stuffed up, but I'm going to power through because, you know, it's a slam and this is what we do.
And you're still hitting return winners and walking to the other side of the court.
That's right. That's right. Maybe a return winner or two, but no aces, honey. No aces on this end.
Aces actually got her through that 2015 Australian Open. How do I think about it?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, she's Serena. She always had an ace up her back sleeve. I wonder if aces, this is a corny segue, but I wonder if aces are going to play a part in who ends up being our Australian Open 2026 winner or not. Anybody that you've had your eyes on in this like run up to AO that is like, I wonder how they're going to do at AO. Somebody that you maybe didn't think was going to be in your radar, but in the last 2 weeks or so, it's like, let's see what they do.
Okay, well, if you're talking about aces, the first person that comes to my mind is Carlos Alcaraz because he has been tinkering with his serve. So I don't know that that's like a surprise pick, but he has been tinkering with his serve. And I know that there have been videos going around online about that. So if there's anyone's serve I'm looking at, it's him. A lot of people are talking about how he, you know, dropped Juan Carlos Ferrero, but I'm impressed that he's still like trying new things on his serve. So we'll see if he can ace his way into another championship, probably against Jannik Sinner if things go to script as they have been. Other than that, the first couple of weeks, I don't think of aces, but I was really impressed that Marta Kostyuk made the final. I'm intrigued where she
the final
ends up
in
going.
Brisbane.
Yeah, final of Brisbane. She beat a couple of top 10 players. So she's someone who really stuck out to me the first week. And anyone who knows me, which is probably about 7 of you, knows that I am pushing hard for the Ekaterina Alexandrova quarterfinal in 2026 at a slam, and they're a potential third round matchup. So the fact that I could squeeze in a Alexandrova mention 3 minutes in, I'm really proud of myself. I think I can log off now. Thank you.
I actually was like, wow, we haven't even been at this for 5 minutes, and we've already name dropped Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, who are probably going to take up air throughout the whole tournament. But you also managed to include Alexandrova, and I feel like for that you deserve a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. What about you? What has jumped out to you?
When I made my predictions, she didn't go very far. Sorry, just saying.
Well, I mean, if history is to repeat itself, I think you might be on the right track. What about you? Has anyone jumped out to you these first couple of weeks?
Yeah. I think a lot of players have kind of hit my eye in a different way. And I think it's just because I took some time after AO to like really break away from watching so much tennis. I still kept an eye on it, but I didn't keep 2 eyes on it. In this past 2 weeks, I've just been like waking up the tennis channel, going to sleep the tennis channel, and I have some thoughts on these players. So let's dive into the draw of it all so I can kind of talk about who's been on my radar while we go through the episode. We should start with the men first as far as looking through the draws, because if I'm being honest, we've already mentioned their names. It's kind of a Carlos and Jannik Sinner, how do they show up against the rest of the field kind of show. That's just where it is, you know?
Yeah, it's been that way for really the last year. So, yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, or 2. I think, you know, there's always a couple of fun storylines you can pick out of a draw, but yeah, I think for the most part, that's where we are and that's where we've been at.
It kind of reminds me, I tweeted this earlier, it kind of reminds me back of 06, 07, which are my early entry points to tennis, where Roger and Rafa were exchanging every Grand Slam. I mean, Rafa particularly at the French Open, and everywhere else it was Roger. And then in 2008, after 2 to 3 years of that like stranglehold, 2008 came along, Djokovic to kind of mess up the party at the AO, and that was his very first Grand Slam. And I'm wondering, sports does like to repeat itself, especially tennis sometimes. I wonder if we're like in the midst of somebody breaking through and winning their very first Grand Slam at this Australian Open on the men's side, which I feel like would be a pretty huge deal to kind of break open 2026. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, the big difference I think there is that nobody was looking for Djokovic or wanting Djokovic in 2008, and most of us
Actually, I was.
Oh, please, Myles. Don't look, we can't start. We
Listen,
already started with Alexandrova. We can't go back to 2007. But I think people were pretty happy with the state of Rafa and Roger at that time. Like people seem pretty happy with the tour, as you give me eyes. And then
revisionist history is telling us that. But I remember back in 06 and 07, it was a little like, all right, we know. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well, what I was gonna say was, I do think now a lot of people are ready for that third person to come in and make their move. Could it happen here? Maybe. It's hard to say who. Like, if it was gonna be a young player, I mean, I guess we can just dive right in. A couple of people that jump out, obviously. I think Jaka Mensik is in the Djokovic section. He beat him in the Miami final. He's having a really good week in the lead up. I believe he's in the final of the lead up. Hopefully he's not too tired, but that's somebody who could kind of go on a hot streak of, kind of big game tennis and maybe make a big run. And then, of course, the kind of easy answer I feel like everyone's going to be pointing to is Joao Fonseca, who I believe would be a third round for Sinner, which I don't really see that. I see that being an exciting, fun match. Maybe like if we're doing throwbacks, a Sharapova Serena, where it's like, oh, this is going to be fun. It's going to be intense, and there's going to be some good moments. But at the end of the day, we all know that Sinner's going to win.
I can see that angle. I also feel like we are living in a very interesting period for Joao Fonseca because he hasn't played a lead up, but he still has like expectations around him to play to his seeding, but we just haven't seen him in 2026. Mind you, he cut all of his hair off after winning Basel or shortly after winning Basel, and we haven't even seen what it looks like. So maybe he plays more aerodynamically, or maybe he has to adjust to it. We don't know because we haven't seen him in a couple of weeks, a bunch of weeks actually.
Yeah.
But in theory, he should make his way through to that center match at the bottom part of the men's draw, but who's to say, really? I think I picked him to go far. Let me see who he plays first round. He plays Elliot Spizzeri. I have a feeling that if I bet you $100, you would know who that is.
I was about to do a Real Housewives of Atlanta throwback. Who said that? I don't even know. Is that a real name? I don't even know. I have not heard of him.
Elliot Spizzeri.
But yeah, with all love.
And I hope I'm saying his name right. I do believe he's a college player. I know very little about him, but I think he got a win or two at the lead up this week in Auckland.
Okay, work.
So on form, I think that's what's so interesting about the AO is because like you really just jump into the season kind of like into the deep end. 3 weeks into the year, you're playing a Grand Slam, and if you haven't played any lead ups, that very first match can kind of be a banana peel for you. Like it can either like make you slip and fall, or you kind of are all systems ready to go because you've had time away and you can know how to move around any kind of thing that comes your way, So
yeah,
I would prefer to see the latter for Joao Fonseca because he really is. I think he has potential to be like a massive appeal in tennis, and I think the more we can add to the appeal of Alcaraz and Sinner, the better. I just don't know if it's going to be at this slam, especially winning against Sinner, who is a 2-time defending champion. It makes it feel like, hardcore Grand Slams are his backyard for the most part. So,
yeah, here's what I'll say about Fonseca is I saw him and I was very excited to see him in Indian Wells, and I stood in a long ass line to finally get in almost at the end of the first set. And all the way till the very end of the match, the whole crowd was going nuts for Joao Fonseca, and they were, Vamos Joao, and all sorts of chants. Well, he didn't win one single game, I think, when I got there. I think I got there at 5-3, and he lost 6-3, 6-0 to Jack Draper. So I guess what I would say is I hope that he has in the off season learned how to like have second and third gears in other matches or other strategies to get through matches that he didn't have last year when he was playing against someone like a Jack Draper, or if he's playing against someone like a Yannick Sinner. He's going to have to change it up because these people can hang with his power in his kind of straightforward game. So hopefully he's adding in some variety and some new things, or who knows, maybe that first round would be difficult.
Yeah, I think considering that you said like adding variety, I think Sinner has actually been doing that a little bit to his game. I think he even said it way back at the US Open that he kind of has to steal a little of the variety from Carlos Alcaraz's game to employ into his. And if he's been working on that in the offseason, I think given the draw that he has, he should work himself into the second round pretty comprehensively, even if he is wearing pickle juice and mustard color clothing from Nike.
They did him so dirty with that. Yeah, it's a disaster. And he made a comment. He was like, I don't have much say in the colors. I felt like he was like beating people to the joke. It's kind of like when you're not in very good shape and you're like, oh, I've gained a little weight when you see someone you haven't seen in a while, just to kind of get it out there first. That's what I felt like he was saying. It was like, I had no saying in these colors. Yeah, I think you said second round. I assume you meant second week. I mean, I don't see anything in his draw.
Oh, did I say second round? Oh yeah,
you did.
He's definitely gonna. I mean, listen, give me chaos. Maybe that's a Freudian slip. Maybe it's gonna happen.
But I mean, if you're looking at like even the seeds kind of in his section up through like the fourth round, you've got Ben Shelton, who has a hard first round against Humbert. You've got, Vachereau, who had his magic run last fall. Like, maybe he could do something, but I just don't see it. I mean, Casper Ruud is in there. He just lost a tiebreak to Roger Federer. So I'm not seeing a lot of has a baby on the way. Like, I'm not seeing a lot in that, should be worrying Yannick. I mean, probably until the final, but maybe, like I said, if he gets into that semi and it could have like a Djokovic or a Menchik or someone like that, it could be interesting, but it seems like he's so set. I mean, that he's owned this tournament the last few years.
Yeah, and he's owned pretty much every tournament he's in. Like, he may be tested here and there, but Yannick Sinner, on a hard court in particular, I feel like is a class above the rest, especially in a best of 5 set match where he can kind of work his way through. Like, somebody may take a set, they may even take 2, and maybe we'll get a situation where they test his physicality. But if it's just based off of like bare bones tennis, he's going to kind of work his way through this, I believe, in second or maybe even third gear. I just think that, can we go back to Casper Ruud losing a tiebreak in the year of 2026 to Roger Federer on a main court? Like, this was not. I know it was a practice set. Yeah, I know it was a practice set, but I'm sure it's already gone viral. I would have my hand in my head, or I just would. Casper probably isn't that guy, but I'm sure people are like, Casper, we already are a little tepid on you being like a top 10 player, and then you go out there and lose a practice set to Roger Federer.
Yeah, losing to Roger Federer, who has barely played. I don't think he's even been back to Australia since he retired. And it's like giving Wimbledon vibes. We all know you don't like playing at Wimbledon, so we kind of give you a pass when you lose early on grass. But yeah, it's not a great shot at what his 2026 season is. I still can't get over when you're saying, talking about Yannick Sinner's bare bones. All I can think of is like he's basically just pale white skin and bones. So I'm stuck
with
there.
With a hint of mustard.
With now a hint of mustard. We need some more spice on there, but. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm looking and I'm thinking that Sinner's in a good place. He seems in a good place, just like emotionally, life-wise as well. He's not coming in with any of the band drama from last year. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think if we're talking about his counterpart? What do you think about Alcaraz and where we stand with him?
I mean, you mentioned spicy, and I feel like his draw possibly could get spicy, or he could work his way through it. It's just he's kind of in a similar boat that I mentioned earlier. We haven't seen him play in a couple of weeks now, and it looks like, for all intents and purposes, I mean, the cameras down at Rod Laver Arena and Australian Open Instagram love him, so we're getting the footage of what looks like a content and happy player. We just have to see how that translates to match settings, but the draw itself gave him something to work itself into. Like, I don't see Adam Walton in the first round causing him any problems, and if things hold as I kind of drew them up, he could possibly face Sebastian Korda in the third round or Quarantine Mote. Like, he should be able to
I'm
work
sorry. I'm so
that.
sick of Sebastian Korda. We've been talking about Sebastian Korda doing things for like 5 years. I'm ready to move on.
Who is
okay. That's true. But don't you feel like there's always a moment where we're like, ooh, Sebastian Korda had a great lead up tournament and he beat so-and-so, or he went 3 sets, and then you like don't hear his name for 6 months. It's like, what is going on with Sebastian Korda?
That sounds about right. The biggest moment of his career was actually winning DC when everybody else was at the Olympics. So that might be a little insight into where Sebastian Korda's career is going. Sorry to any Sebastian Korda diehards out there. Please don't come
There's not
for me.
any.
Or
there
us.
aren't any. I think you're fine. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, listen, for me, Carlos Alcaraz. By the way, when I see Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner being this like dynamic duo, I think of like, when you see, if you're comparing them to like a gay couple, it's like, you meet one of the guys and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy like has it all. It's so amazing, so great. And then you meet his partner and you're like, oh, okay, you two are matched up. And that's kind of how I feel about these two. I'm like, I feel like we could have gotten Carlos Alcaraz about better counterpart. Like Roger had Rafa, Maria, and Serena. It's like they were all kind of on the same level. And I just feel like Carlos is doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this duo. That's something I can't shake. If I'm looking at his draw, sorry, that was just a side note that I was thinking about.
No, I get it.
Driving.
I'm trying to picture them on the cover of a magazine together. Like maybe back to back to each other. I'm gonna have ChatGPT try to draw this up. Maybe they have like their backs facing each other, holding their rackets, because they really are the face of men's tennis. It's just I completely understand what you mean by like Alcaraz bringing more of the spice in the whole relationship that they've built around tennis, because they seem like they get along pretty well.
Yes.
But they also bring out the best in each other and don't have like that real heated rivalry.
Well, when you were talking about the pictures, I was all of a sudden thinking about like an America's Next Top Model photo shoot. So maybe that's what
More
we
neck.
can think of as, yeah, exactly, more neck. But anyways, back to Carlos's draw. The one name I do think could be interesting is Tommy Paul. They have had some really close matches, and Tommy Paul's gotten a few wins. That would be in the 4th round. I think that before that, Alcaraz's draw just looks too good for anyone to trouble him. But if he is feeling a little off, or maybe doesn't have Juan Carlos there, and that is the first time where all of a sudden my eyes kind of okay, I caught a look there, because Tommy Paul seems to be playing pretty well and has given him trouble in the past.
Somebody else that I'm not sure if he's giving him trouble or not, but can, in my mind, trouble Alcaraz if he's playing well, is somebody I think you like, Flavio Cobolli. That could be like a potential 3rd or 4th round if Cobolli works his way through the draw. And Cobolli played some nice matches back in United Cup, I think. And he's like a sucker already in his career for a very dramatic, long, lengthy match. So I would like to see it if they kind of get to each other in the draw. But other than that, Francis is in that little section. That could be maybe a 3rd or 4th round match. Yeah, it's just not a lot of firepower coming up against Alcaraz. If he loses, I would imagine he beats himself, which we have seen in the last year. We haven't seen a lot of it, but it is somewhere in the Alcaraz story that he kind of comes out and misfires, and if you misfire enough, the opponent these days can take advantage of it. So we've talked all this, and we're probably still going to get Alcaraz in semifinal.
Right. No, I agree. It's 100% true. I mean, there's just not a ton. I'm looking at that section. I think maybe, I think this is a good opportunity for De Minaur. He plays Berrettini first round, which seems like a big first round. If you're looking for good first matches to watch, that could be fun. And if De Minaur gets through that, I think he makes it pretty far and could probably be the quarterfinal opponent for Alcaraz. but I don't think de Minaur would have a chance in that match. So again, it's like you get to these matches where quarters, semis, where you'd expect there to be some high drama, and I don't think we're going to get it.
Davidovich Fokina is somewhere lurking around there in that first quarter of the draw, I believe, and he can bring the drama too. So
he can bring the drama, but I don't know that he's going to bring enough game.
Yeah, he can't. He might not bring the win.
Definitely not. Definitely not clutch.
Should we quickly touch on the players that have proven themselves to also not be that clutch? that maybe have an outside chance at winning the title, that are like still high seeds, but
I feel like that's all the rest of the seeds. But yeah, let's do it.
Like Musetti, FAA, Bublik is in the top 10 now.
Lord help us.
Ben Shelton, like all of these players are top 10 players, but they don't feel like they would necessarily be up with a fighting chance against Sinner and Alcaraz. Like they're fighting for the runners-up trophy, or even a semifinal.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Musetti. I actually really like his game as well. I think he's starting to play a little more aggressively. He had said that's what he wants to do. His forehand does look like he's going for more. I'm a little concerned for a second round with his doubles partner from last week, Sonego, who beat him at the end of last year and has done well.
I did pick the upset on that.
Did you? Yeah. See, that one has me a little bit nervous. There's another fun match in that section, by the way. Dimitrov and Mahach, first round. It's like I'm calling the OG heartthrob versus the king of the short shorts with those two. That could be fun. But that whole Musetti section, there's Grigor, Lorenzo Musetti, Tsitsipas, and Wawrinka all right there in that little section with one-handed backhands. Like it's kind of like they've got the looks, they've got the flair, but I don't see anyone coming out of there that's really going to do much damage.
Do they have the results? Are they going to be in the running still for America's next top one-handed backhand?
Who? Okay, wait. Let's just, if this was America's next top one-handed backhand, who of those four would come out? Who would she be holding? Whose picture would Tyra be holding at the end?
I think based off of style and fierceness, like Tyra loves, even at the tender age of 40, 41, I'm going to give it to Wawrinka. He still has it.
Same. And honestly, I could see him. I mean, his first match against Laszlo Jerry, that to me has 5 sets all over it. So he might not be
all over it.
Yeah, like can't you just see that one being like one of those 5-hour Stan Wawrinka classics that he loses like 7-6 in the third? But I mean, Lehechka's in there too, by the way. Lehechka might be the one who comes out of that section because, Taylor Fritz is kind of one of those guys that you're talking about who's a top 10 seed, doesn't really, he's a little injured, doesn't seem like he's got what it takes right now to push the very top players. So I don't know. That little section's a little bit open. Like I said, I don't think, or like you said, I don't think any of them are going to threaten Carlos or Jannik Sinner if they're both playing well. But that little section could get fun, at least for the first week. That's the one part of the draw that I'm like, okay, I would watch most of these matches. After that,
unless Steele comes out of it,
it's a little hit or miss.
I do think it's interesting, just quickly going back to that Mahach and Dimitrov first round. Mahach is in the final of the warm-up in Adelaide pretty much as we're recording this, or somewhere thereabouts. And I think he has a contender for one of the best two-handed backhands on tour when he's in full flight. And Dimitrov is up there as like maybe third runner-up in America's next top one-handed backhand, So that's a battle of the backhands there. It's just that both of them have had issues with their body. Dimitrov has like retired out of the last 4 or 5 Grand Slams. And then Mahach, when I was watching his match against Tommy Paul, who also is a little banged up, I think since Barcelona of 2024, Mahach has retired or withdrew before the match 11 times in the span of like less than 2 years, which is a little hefty.
Not the stat you want.
So, yeah, so we'll see if either of them can actually make their way through the finish of that match. But in theory, stylistically, it should be good with one two-handed backhand that's really good and one-handed backhand that's really good. So, yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so who are you picking? Do you have Jannik Sinner or you have Carlos Alcaraz winning this tournament? Have you gone that far?
Yeah, I got that far, and that's the final I ended up with. I think my semifinal lineup included, yes, I had in the semifinals, I had Carlos Alcaraz taking on Felix Auger-Aliassime, who I'm hoping can find and muster up some of that same end of season energy that he's had before and put it towards this Australian Open. Because I think with his draw, it is possible. I may be shooting myself in the foot, and somebody may be waiting to clip this up when he loses in the first round. I'm not sure.
No, please.
But that's what my prediction said. And then I had Novak Djokovic versus Sinner in the semis. Like, whoopee.
Yawn. When not Goldberg. Yeah, I didn't.
They're not putting that on HBO Max.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I didn't fill out my complete draw, but like I said, I just if you're just looking, I am kind of hoping Carlos wins this tournament because it would break up Yannick's run here at the Australian Open. I don't ever love when a player wins the tournament too many times in a row, and he also is going for the career slam here at this tournament, which I think would be kind of a fun story to follow. So I think with his new serve, I don't know. I'm going to make a little prediction, and someone can clip this up too when he loses in the second round. But I feel like he might have something to prove here. If I were him, I would be a little annoyed about everyone being like, "Oh my God, Ferrero! Like, what are you going to do without him? You talk to him constantly." Da 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 da. And it's like I'd want to go up there and be like, let me remind you that I'm Carlos Alcaraz, and I did this because of my talent.
Swing the bracket
so much. Yeah, this is all me. Thank you. And I can see him wanting to go out there and prove a point. So I don't know, new serve, new vibe. We'll see how it goes. I would think I would lean Carlos just for that reason.
He did kind of lose me a little bit because I was really liking the blonde. He shouldn't have ditched it. A career Grand Slam wearing the blonde. Yeah, let's do that.
Well, hey, listen, time. I was gonna say I could see him like flying in his barber halfway through. You
have time. Go do it. Okay. As we transition off of a Carlos Alcaraz blonde moment, let's get into some more blondes, aka the women's singles draw at Australia. This is where things get really interesting. So if you've taken a nap, wake up.
Right.
Can you believe we're like back talking about this? And I bring this up now because the first name I see is the defending champion. The first name I see on our notes, rather, is defending champion Madison Keys. And it feels like we were just having our Emancipation of Mimi album AO 2025 win podcast, It's crazy.
One of the most fun times I've ever had behind the mic was with you at that at the end of last year's Australian Open. Yeah, well, I wanted to include this because I felt like if I'm Madison Keys and I've gone my whole career kind of falling short at the very end of these tournaments and not winning my slam, and then I win my slam finally, I don't care what I have to do. I am showing up to do the big walk to the draw ceremony with my Daphne trophy. I'm doing everything I can to have that moment to really relish it and celebrate it. Like I still have images of Caroline Wozniacki doing that after she won, and I've never seen someone smile so big. I know Caroline Wozniacki won the Australian Open. It's shocking, but
no, I don't remember her having this large like pomp through the stadium kind of moment. I don't remember that.
Yes. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Australian Open, they invite the winners of the last, like the defending champions, come and sit and carry the trophy and bring it in. They do a whole thing, and then they announce the draw, and they're part of the draw ceremony, and it tends to be a pretty big deal. Yannick Sinner was there this year, and Madison Keys was not there because she was losing her, I believe it was quarterfinal in the lead up to Victoria Mboko. And I'm like, Madison, it couldn't be me. And this is why I'm not a professional athlete, because I would have been sitting there waiting with my Daphne trophy from 2 weeks ago. I would have not played any lead ups. I would have been ready, decked out, hair done, everything ready for my moment. And so I was just kind of disappointed Madison didn't have that moment. But clearly it's, she wanted to keep her routines and keep things going. But I wonder if she regrets that decision.
Madison gives me she doesn't necessarily have to be in the limelight. Like she's okay just being at home, ordering her Amazon niche stuff and like watering her plants. So I don't think she's like really up at night. I don't think she's really up at night mad that she missed that moment. But it would have been nice because like you said, she finally like got over that hump and won a Grand Slam after we all, maybe even us, were like, she's never going to do it, and she did it.
Absolutely.
But she coincidentally has come into this Australian Open picking up a couple match wins. Like, she didn't win Adelaide, she didn't win Brisbane, but I think she got 2 match wins or so in each. I think she made the quarterfinals both times in both of her warm-ups. So that's something, So maybe, again, she can go on a run. I think I have her going second week deep, at least, because her draw is pretty kind to her. Who she opens up against, I have to be 100% honest. Sorry to that young lady.
Uh-oh. Not a Kiki Palmer reference.
Don't know. I do not know, respectfully, who Oleksandra Olyenkov is. I have no idea who that is.
A Ukrainian player sending her the best.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you this. Now, I don't think it's going to necessarily happen, but when I looked at this draw and I was poking around at this, well, I guess we'll start at the bottom half of this draw. And I looked at Madison Keys. I thought, okay, this is not a bad draw for Madison. She gets Jess Pegula potentially in the 4th round. There, Sloane Stevens, shout out. So glad she's back. She's in there. You know what I really want is a Amanda Anisimova Madison Keys Big Babe tennis quarterfinal. That is what I am dreaming of for this section of the draw.
For it.
Yeah.
Sign me up for it. I think it would be a great, especially if Amanda Anisimova goes on to win the title. Wink, wink. I think it will be a nice little, converging of stories. Last year's champion losing to the potential champion of this year. I think that'll be nice. Wink, wink.
Maybe some foreshadowing.
Yes, I'm winking because Amanda Anisimova is actually who I picked to win the whole thing.
Well, then if you are picking Amanda Anisimova to win the whole thing, then you should be hoping that Jess Pegula is not the one waiting in the quarterfinal, because I believe Jess Pegula is undefeated against Amanda Anisimova, except like one challenge or exhibition match. So that would be helpful for you or for anyone who wants Amanda Anisimova to lift the title, for Jess Pegula to get out of the way.
That may be true.
That's a dangerous one. Where do you have Jess Pegula losing, by the way, if you filled out your whole draw?
I was just about to say that may be true, but who has ever walked up to a match and feared Jessica Pegula? Ooh. Not to say that she doesn't win matches, but I don't know if she's ever invoked fear as an opponent. God damn it, I got to go play Jessica Pegula. It's okay, right. I'm gonna get a ball to hit.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, it's so true.
I would look at it.
For a lot of the top players, they would have opportunities. I saw McCartney Kessler play against Madison Keys in one of the lead ups in a match that I thought was super high quality. That could be a second rounder. If McCartney Kessler plays Pegula, I'm sitting down and watching that one, because that's an intense player who wants to win, won't be, wowed by the occasion. So maybe that's where your Pegula upset comes up in the second round against Kessler.
I actually thought about it because I was able to see that match first front row when they played in the final of Austin in 2025. And that's exactly how I would describe it. Very intense, really, really good ball striking. So if they do play, I wouldn't be totally surprised if McCartney Kessler wins. It's just that Kessler's form necessarily hasn't been there the last couple of months. So I'm wondering if that may factor into the match. But other than that, Pegula has a very open section to get to an Amanda Anisimova match. It's just that Pegula has had opportunities like this throughout her career in Grand Slams. Sometimes she takes advantage, sometimes she doesn't. So it's just 50-50. Prime example, last year she lost to Olga Danilovic, a name we're going to talk about in a second, I'm sure. But that's who she lost to, So a player who is absolutely treeing, like the girl said, I do think they can upset Pegula. And that is not shade. Maybe Pegula has the same amount of fans as Sebastian Cordes. Maybe I'm just talking to the wind.
Wow.
I'm not sure. I'm not
honestly,
sure.
You're right. Though, yeah, there are some players who really jump off and have a ton of fans, and some who don't. I think Pegula maybe has at least. Yeah, I was gonna say she maybe have. She made a fan of me, out of me when she played the last couple U.S. Opens against Sabalenka. I felt like the way she fought and hung in there, I really enjoyed those matches. I'm also a bit of an Olga Danilovic truther. So I'll go ahead and say it right off the bat. That is not who I wanted to see Venus Williams go up against in the first round. When I saw that draw come out, I thought, okay, I know maybe rankings wise and things like that, but I've seen Olga. I always think of Roland Garros and her playing Danielle Collins, and it's very hard to match Danielle Collins' intensity on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And Olga Danilovic does it. So speaking of McCartney Kessler, who's going to like step up and be a, not be coward, not be, what is the word I'm trying to say? Coward? Odd, maybe odd by the occasion.
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. Mm-hmm. Overall,
like she's not going to cower. Yeah, she's not going to cower at the moment. Who cares? Okay, keep it moving. But no, but she Danilovic is the same way. Like she's not going to care that she's going up against Venus. She's not going to be, intimidated or worried about like, oh gosh, this is a player who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. All that. I think that's going to actually inspire her more, and that worries me for my chances for Venus, because I thought Venus had a shot at winning a couple of matches here with the right draw, and I'm just not sure this is it. Would love to be wrong.
Yes, I would love to underestimate Venus and have her come out there and just like stand and deliver, which I feel like is the best way of her getting a win these days. There's not a lot of movement. Stand there, hit that ball flat.
Stop.
Either you're going for it and it goes in, or it doesn't. Because she's a couple.
The Davenport method. Love
yes,
Lindsay, but that was kind of the Davenport. Yes,
it was. And that possibly could work against Danilovic. Danilovic doesn't strike me as a huge big match player. Her game is kind of rangy. Like when it's working well, you're like, oh, how is she not in the top 20, top 30? But then you realize that it doesn't always work. And if the pressure's on, if the crowd is pulling for Venus and Venus's game is working, 3 sets is all I'm going to say. Don't know how that's going to go, but 3 sets is what I can imagine that happening, because if Danilovic gets nervous and Venus doesn't, spray the ball, who knows what could happen? I don't know.
Did you watch her loss?
Maybe this is.
Oh, go ahead.
Maybe this is my Venus. Maybe this is my Venus heart talking because I'm so tired. But yes, the Tatiana Maria match.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was feeling good about Venus until I saw that score that she lost to Tatiana Maria. I didn't see the match, so I don't know if it was just a slice and dice moment like Tatiana had on grass last year. But I thought that was a match on hard court that I kind of thought Venus would win, given how well she looked and what I thought she looked good in her previous match, her first match of the year.
She did look good against Magdalene in Auckland. I agree. It's just that Tatiana Maria doesn't play like almost anybody else on tour.
Yeah.
And I find it highly doubtful that anybody practices like her, or that Venus got enough time to find somebody that hits the ball that she does. So she kind of was just a little all over the place. But Danilovic may give her an easier ball to hit. And she's also a lefty too. So maybe that might spring Venus for a surprise. I don't know. I think I'm just going to retract all of my predictions and just be happy that Venus is out there and healthy and really looks happy. I think that is the wonderful thing, because if she is going to go out and make some kind of retirement announcement, I think what she's finally been searching for is happy, healthy moment to do so, So
Oh yeah, I'm so glad Venus is in this draw. Anytime we get to see her, I'm happy, even when she's out with Novak Djokovic, like they were out taking pictures together today. Normally
he's a big fan.
Of course, as he should be. But yeah, I mean,
no, Venus said she's a big fan of Novak.
Oh, that's upsetting. Okay, you didn't need to do that. Now you're just trying to pick a fight with me or get me to say something mean about Venus, which isn't going to work. But I'm interested in what you think about. So if Venus, whether or not she wins her first round, her second round match would be against Coco Gauff. I feel like you and I have talked about Coco Gauff a lot over, gosh, I guess the years we've been talking to each other now.
She's that girl.
She's that girl. She's always on everyone's lips. She's keeping us entertained. She'll lose 6-0 to Buzes Monero, and then a few days later, she'll beat Iga Swiatek in straight sets. It really is kind of a fun, wild ride with Coco. What are your thoughts on Coco going in? She starts with Rakimova, who I believe has had. Is she the one who won a few matches here last year? I can't remember, but either way, I know she's a good player, but what do you see Coco Gauff doing this year?
I think Coco Gauff is going to have a relatively good Australian Open. I think she has got some of the or started to, I should say. I think she started to get some of those what am I doing out here with this tinkered service motion, and got that match out of the way against Butas Minero at the United Cup, and then also picked up a really, really good and important win against Iga. I think confidence-wise, she's going to take that as far as it can take her at the Australian Open, and her draw is not terrible, I think. I think a lot of it depends on how comfortable she is implementing the changes that her and her team have been trying to put in her game in real time in matches. I think that's going to be the story of pretty much her season, because I think when the moment gets bigger, she her personality and her competitive spirit comes up to the moment, but sometimes the technical flaws in her game don't really stand up to the moment. So it's kind of this weird juxtaposition. You have such a great athlete who's a fighter and wants to dig for every point and has that kind of game that can strew errors out of you, but sometimes she also beats herself because she can't get the second serve in, and her forehand's flying all over the place. She's falling back off of it. So it's kind of a conundrum. But all that said, she's the third seed. She's been to the semifinals here before. I like her chances of going deep again, especially now that I've seen her, play the full range of how she can play at the United Cup. She's played awful, and she's played quite well. So if she finds a happy medium at Australia in Melbourne for the next 2 weeks or so, I think she'll be good. It'll be interesting to watch.
Okay, for those of you who don't care about me at all, this is your time to go back and take a nap like we were talking about the ATP. But I took a tennis lesson. I'm going to tell a quick story about forehands because, I've talked about Coco Gauff's forehand a lot. I took a tennis lesson the other day, and I always thought that my forehand was my best shot, okay? And this teaching pro tore me up, down, dragged me across the court, told me that I don't bend my knees enough on my forehand. He kept yelling legs, legs, legs at me when I was sitting my forehand, saying I was standing there lazily, and that my rally tolerance was bad, and that I didn't have a high enough rally tolerance, and that I'm a good player, but that my forehand could really get better. He literally
Did he know you before this?
No, never met me. I just paid. I
Seems
paid
very
for it.
Personal.
Honey, he read me up and down, and then you know what I was thinking, and I was so sore after. I'm like, God, maybe I have just gotten lazy on my forehand. So listen, Coco, you're not the only one getting dragged up and down about your forehands from time to time. I feel you. I respect it. I'm going to be getting low on my forehands. I agree with you 100%. I think Coco Gauff is also going to be getting low on her forehands. I think she is going to have a good run here. I also like her draw, even though, by the way, Butas Minero is not far from her. They could be, I think, third round opponent there. But she also has Haley Baptiste versus Vondrousovas right there in the draw. Some interesting players, but I just think when it comes to these kind of big time slams and tournaments, Coco always seems to bring her best, and she can always fall back on her legs and her athleticism. So I agree. I see Coco going far here. I don't see anyone who I really think is gonna trouble her too much. And I'm excited. I wouldn't mind seeing another Coco Arena Sabalenka semifinal or big match at a slam. That's been some drama. That's been some fun over the last couple of years.
I completely concur. That matchup and that rivalry is a heavy hitter right now in women's tennis. So if it happens again, I'm going to be sad for it. And I keep glancing around the draw, and there are some names that if they play well, that can bother Coco. But I think if she plays well, she's the barometer here. If she plays well, she can work herself through this draw and get herself into the second week. And from there, it's a matter of just digging in. You mentioned Sabalenka. I don't think we've talked about her at all, but she's the defending finalist and has won here twice. She looked in great form in Brisbane, really, really great form. And she, I think, has a pretty manageable draw. And I think that's even being nice. I think it's very manageable. There are some names that lurk. Victoria Mboko being one of the biggest names that kind of lurk as a potential fourth round. Would love to see that. But other than that, I think Sabalenka in Australia on those rivalry courts, because she's probably always going to get top billing at this point, I think she can work her opponent off the court and just hit them off the court if she's playing well and confident, which she seems to be the most confident player on the WTA tour right now. So I'm expecting her to work her way through the draw without too much fuss. Only fuss will be her grunting.
Myles, now listen, I've said I'm sick and you can't make me laugh because when I laugh, I cough. And you have now made me laugh because all I can think of is stand and hit. And now there are certain players when I look and see them, all I thought when I saw Clara Towson in this section of the draw was talk about a player who stands and hits. Not a lot of running.
It doesn't bend the knees.
No. The coach who I hit with the other day would be horrified if he saw Clara Towson's forehand form. No, I agree 100%. Like, it feels like Sabalenka is the bar at all of these tournaments right now, where it's like, if you're going to win a slam, you're going to have to pull out like what Madison Keys did at last year's Australian Open, or maybe like what Coco did, just weathering the storm at Roland Garros last year.
And bring the pace.
Yeah, Amanda doing the same thing at Wimbledon. So it's like she's always right there. I feel pretty strongly you're right. Like, she won the lead up again. This is like becoming a habit for her of just like coming down, winning titles in Australia, cruising through the draw. I mean, look, here's the thing. We've got Marta Kostyuk is again the player who I was talking about earlier. She would be a potential quarterfinal opponent. Sabalenka has handled her really well. Alexandrova, my girl, who I know I brought up earlier, but her and Kostyuk aren't known for like showing up at slams and really making deep runs. So I think it's kind of a clash of those two of like, can either one of them make it farther in a draw than they have been able to? I think the answer probably is no. And even if they get there, I don't think they'll give Sabalenka any issues. So yeah, you're right. Mboko, who by the way is taped up like Aga Radwanska used to be, you know what I mean? Pretty much from head to toe right now on one of her legs. So that would be fun. Now that would be like a fun young prospect against the world number one. I would be sat for that match, but I just don't know if I see any of these people giving her trouble before the semis where she would potentially meet Coco.
I think it would be a huge upset if she lost before the second week. Huge upset.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones they're like, oh, well, remember where you were when Sabalenka lost? Like, yeah,
right.
I remember.
Although, I have to say, I almost hope that happens at some slam this year, because we are so used to penciling in her name now to late rounds of draws. I would love to see someone come out and take Sabalenka out in like the second or third round at some draw this year, just to keep it interesting. You know what I mean? Like, we've got the men's side where the same two are making it over and over. Like, we both kind of like on the WTA for things to kind of remain a little bit more fun than that. So I wouldn't hate seeing an upset, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's a little tough to see. But if I'm going to go for an upset, I'd rather it be Sinner than Sabalenka.
Hello, Lord, please. Same.
Another S, Swiatek, is at the bottom of the draw. Kind of touched on her, kind of haven't. Her form is good/bad. She's in an interesting spot in her career to me. I made a video earlier a couple days ago saying how like she's one of the players that when she loses, I'm kind of more interested than when she wins. Take that how you will. It's not meant to be super shady. It's just how I digest the narrative of the WTA tour. With that being said, her draw is like, she's not losing to Marie Buskova or Elizabeta Cortierto, or like, I know she has lost to Anna Kalinskaya, but I can't see Anna Kalinskaya doing it at a major. And then, the rest of her, like from first round to fourth round, she should be completely fine, barely dropping games. Even like on second gear, right? What I'm hoping is, and what I penciled in, is that we get a Naomi Osaka Iga fourth round. Naomi has to do a lot of the workload to get us there because her draw is not as like walk through the park as Iga, but I would love to see that, simply because I think Naomi put a quote out actually that I just saw. I didn't see her say it, but I just saw the quote. She said that whatever happens at this tournament, she kind of just wants to play it with no regrets. And like, that's fine, but it also makes me wonder where she is and thinking about how many more Australian Opens she's going to be playing. Like, she doesn't give me, I'm going to be out here coming back from injuries and like low levels of play for years and years and years. So she I think she likes getting deep into slams and she wants to keep doing it. She made the slam semifinal at the US Open. I think she wants to try her hardest here because if the results don't start resulting, I don't know how long we're going to have Naomi Osaka for. So I really hope that we get that Naomi Osaka Iga 4th round. I really do.
Wow, honestly, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, no, it was that really honestly just kind of brought down my mood a little bit. Thanks for killing the vibe, Myles. Thanks for killing the vibe. Because I was just thinking like, wow, you know what? You're kind of right. And that would be I think that would be disappointing if Naomi were to retire fully without having more of an impact on the actual tour. She had that one kind of short run last summer, and that's really the only time she's been impactful.
Yeah.
Since she's been back, and I think that would be a bit of a disappointment for her. I mean, maybe not, but I think that this is an important slam for her. I think you're 100% right, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because, she does well on the hard court slams better than on the natural surfaces. So after this slam, it's you have till the end of the year, till the US Open. Yeah. So she's going to either have to figure out one of those other surfaces or this is her best shot. I keep going back when I saw this draw, I'm like, oh, I go back to that match at Roland Garros where she played Swiatek and had match point, had a pretty big lead in the third set. Couldn't quite pull it off. I wonder a little bit, like, is that match, would that come in her mind? Like, I'm actually, I can do this. If I can do this on clay, I can do it on hard courts. And we've seen, like you mentioned, like Iga she can get up and down as well, and she can kind of get hit off the court. So, I need to see a little bit more from Naomi before I pick that upset. Like, I need to cop out. I'm just not sure because with Naomi, it could kind of go either way. I mean, and plus I see my Antichrist Laura Siegemund in there. So, I mean, the last thing I want to do is see a Naomi Osaka Laura Siegemund 3rd round. Help us all.
Yeah, I don't need to see that.
I would love to see I would love to see Naomi Osaka, or excuse me, Naomi and Swiatek in the 4th round. And you're so right. I need to find that video of you saying that. It is more fun, sadly, watching Iga kind of lose. Like, it's been so fun watching these close matches with her on the losing end. Those are the ones that stick out in my head as opposed to her winning. So
yeah, I mean, respectfully, I'll always say that she's a great player. She's going to be remembered for years and years and years. It's just that, I think Anna was the same way to me. Like, I remember the matches where she got beat way more than the matches that she won, but she helped develop some kind of storyline WTA tour. It wasn't like she was irrelevant, So that's all I put Iga in.
Justine Anna had a little darker energy, I think. Iga might have some quirks, but I feel like Justine was dark energy. I don't know. I had more. Lord, was I going to say disdain? I had more disdain toward Justine than I do Iga. I'm not going to, Iga does get me up out of my seat, but yeah, comparing her to Justine, that's like comparing a player today to a Djokovic, and that's just too cruel.
I told you at one point I actually wanted Djokovic to win the Australian Open back in 2008.
Lord, we've been on this call for almost an hour. And you're still trying to pick a fight with me.
Listen, you can change over time. Listen, change is inevitable.
Lord,
you can change.
Why? I'm going to
shift. You can get more information.
I have plenty of information on Djokovic. We've been dealing with Djokovic information for 20 effing years. I'm good. No, I it's just to bring it back to the ladies, Lord. I would love to see the Osaka Iga 4th round. And, if you just, scoot up a little bit further, we're right back up to your girl, Amanda Anisimova. So I want to kind of go back and touch on this topic a little bit more. You have her winning the title. I'm looking at her draw right now. It's not bad. It's actually quite nice. And I think and I think that if, like, it's nice that Amanda Anisimova is in a place in her career and her life where, like, there has to be some real tough players in there who are playing well to have her have a tough draw because she's just playing that well all the time. So, you've got Noskova there, a potential 4th round. Noskova's tough, but I just don't see Noskova.
She beat in a final. Yeah.
Yep. I don't see her coming up with the goods. It really is going to be a big test. Is going to be that quarterfinal, whether it's Pegula or whether it's Keys. In my dreams, maybe it's a Sloane Stephens. I don't even. I know it probably won't be, but I'm just glad she's there. That's going to be a really big match for Anisimova. And then, my lord, could we end up with another Anisimova Swiatek semifinal or big match? Like, keep them coming.
Yeah, I think that's a great also like kind of figurehead rivalry for the WTA at the moment, especially how that like love and love match unveiled at Wimbledon. If Amanda can work her way through to kind of like that be the like background noise and what she's done afterwards be the foreground noise, I think that'd be great, really. I did pick her to win the whole tournament. It was a little bit of me kind of just going off of first feelings when I was making my way through the fantasy draw, and I'm not sure I want to change it, but I do think it could shake out that she finds herself deep at the AO again. She made good runs here before. It's a hard court. She doesn't come in with like her warm up. She lost to Kostyuk, but a lot of people lost to Kostyuk that week. You know,
yeah.
So
right.
I hope that she's confident in her game, because this is a nice opportunity for her to do some damage. Who does she open up against? Somebody I don't think I've ever heard of before. Oh, Simona. Gotta wish I had some glasses on. Simona Waltert.
Yeah.
Respect to you, love, from respect to you, love, from Switzerland. But yeah, I think that whole section is. I mean, Ostapenko's in there. We don't really know what you're gonna get on any given day with her. Novskova, like you said, yeah, I think you could work her way through this draw. It would take like a backwards performance from Anisimova to not go deep in this draw, I think. And I don't want to see that. I want to see her keep progressing, because she's a fun 4 seed. You know, like she should be going deep in this tournament.
Yeah.
So I want to see that happen for her.
You mentioned that Carlos Alcaraz does not have the blonde, but she did lighten up her hair right before the tournament. So she's got, I don't think it's fully blonde, but definitely lighter than it was last summer when she was going through her good run of form. So we'll see. Maybe she's going on the Alcaraz train where she's going lighter right before a slam to go home and take home the title. Listen, if Amanda Anisimova wins this title, we're doing another celebration. We'll have to come up with a fun pun as opposed to Emancipation of Maddie for at the end of this tournament. I want to do that with you. We can think on what that title would be. Are
you a Christina Aguilera fan?
I mean, listen, I was always Team Britney, but I love both the divas. Yes.
We can think about a Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears moment if Amanda Anisimova wins the Australian Open.
Well, listen, maybe we could have. Okay, wait, hold on. Sorry, this is gonna, and then we can wrap before I hack all over this microphone. But this could be a Christina Aguilera versus Britney Spears Best New Artist, 1999, I believe it was, maybe 2000, which Christina Aguilera had a huge upset win, beating Britney Spears for the Grammy in Best New Artist. Big upset. Would that be, maybe we'll get an Amanda Anisimova beating a Sabalenka in an equally big upset, or even maybe a Coco Gauff, because I don't know. I listen, Coco Gauff of Sabalenka, it's not as easy of a pick as people may think. Coco is trouble. Could we get an All-American final, Amanda versus Coco? Lord help me. We're going to have a Christina Britney Grammy off. I would be so happy.
Okay, when I was doing my picks, I'm kind of in the same lane with you with Christina and Britney, except that I have to throw another blonde in. And that blonde is Mira Andreeva.
Oh.
Mira Andreeva has impressed me. She in the last 2 weeks when I've actually been watching tennis, this last week in Adelaide, she's impressed me. She's in the final against Victoria Mboko. Not sure how that's gonna shake out. I'm still a little weary on like her emotional outbursts, because she's literally a teenager and she showed in pressure moments that kind of comes out. But game wise, when she is like being her normal, like she's not even keel, but when she's keeping it together and having fun out there, her game is a problem. And that is actually who I worked through to the final was Mira Andreeva.
You have Andreeva.
I had Mira Andreeva.
Anisimova?
Yeah, I had her upsetting Sabalenka. No, I have Andreeva and Anisimova in the final. Yeah.
So you have Sabalenka beating Coco, or no? You have Andreeva getting through the Coco section,
and beating Coco.
Wow,
I think it's possible.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean,
This would be a
don't
huge turn
hold me to
for
the fire
her.
here, guys.
No, it's fun.
Yeah,
Listen,
I think it's
these predictions are
I think it'd be
it's
cool.
fun to have conversation starters like this. I mean, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but she is playing well. I'm just going to look really quickly
Mhm.
at her draw. I mean, Yastrzemska, Lord help us all. We never could guess what she's going to bring. Svitolina. I mean, there's your favorite Muhova up there. I mean, honestly, I can see Andreeva making a good run here. Once she gets herself in that position, who knows? Maybe this is the year she makes her big move at a slam. I would be open to it. I'm really honestly excited about this women's draw. This is a fun draw.
Mhm.
There's a lot of players playing well and who have kind of a good pedigree. Thank God we're out of some of those dark ages of 2021 where these, some of these players who you'd never heard of are making the semis. RIP, Zidansek, we love you, but whatever. But I'm just saying, like, this is fun. Women's tennis is in a really strong, healthy place, and I'm excited for this tournament to get started.
I'm excited. Maybe my picks won't shake out all the way. What also might gag you, who I had in the semifinals as
Sleep.
well. We haven't mentioned her at all, but I was taken aback by what I saw at her lead-up event. Belinda Bencic.
Oh
I
God.
have Belinda Bencic versus Amanda Anisimova in the bottom half semifinal. Bencic is not somebody that you typically can bank on at a slam, but she did make the semis of Wimbledon last year. She has made a semi of the US Open before, and maybe she's made a quarter at Australia sometime in her career. I just was impressed by what I saw at the United Cup. And if those courts play anything like the courts in Melbourne and she plays anything like she did in Melbourne, it could get interesting, or I could just be completely under the guise of Belinda Bencic playing for Switzerland because she loves playing for that flag for whatever reason. I mean, yeah, go Switzerland. She just gets an extra battery in her back. This could all be wrong. This could all blow up in my face. But, I mean, why not? Why not? Make it interesting. Make it interesting.
Belinda Bencic has never been one of my favorites, but
She's
I
blocked me
enjoy.
on Twitter.
Oh, honestly, congratulations. That is a badge of honor. I'd put that on a t-shirt. She has been playing really well. She's never someone who gets me up out of my seat. She's got Kasakina pretty early on there. Also, Elisa Mertens, who played really well at
Who Bencic
United
beat?
Cup. Yeah, so Bencic. Oh, that's what I was thinking when you first said Bencic was, yes, she made the semifinals of Wimbledon, but that was Alexandrova's spot, and Alexandrova dropped the ball there, and I'm still annoyed about that. That was really her chance to make a slam quarter for the first time.
You're one of
Another
12 people who even remember that she made that quarter.
it's more like 3. It's more like 3. Excuse me. One other name that we have not said, which honestly we should, and this is someone who maybe isn't bringing the personality, but who is bringing the game. That's Rybakina. Rybakina
Nice.
has obviously made a final here, played a great 3-set match and a loss to Sabalenka. Listen, if Rybakina's playing well, that's going to be probably the biggest challenge for Belinda Bencic, or you might just be right because Belinda is playing really well. I'd be sat for the Rybakina Belinda Bencic match, but that's the big one. And you're right, Belinda, she doesn't do it as many times as you would think that she's made deep runs at draws. But yeah, I'm intrigued. That's even another little mini section of the draw there that I had been ignoring a little bit. So we'll see if Rybakina can play like she ended the year. Lord, she'll be right there.
Would you be sat? I think you'd be sat for a Sabalenka Rybakina final, but take Sabalenka out of the picture. Who else would you think would make a good final on the top half of the draw against Rybakina? Because I think Rybakina would be in the bottom half. Yeah. See?
I know. See, honestly, it's a little bit like what we were saying about Carlos and Yannick Sinner with Sabalenka and Rybakina. Like Sabalenka brings almost everything. Rybakina is kind of just the other player that's really good. I mean, listen, I'd love to see Coco play anyone, but yeah, no, I get your point. She's, Rybakina isn't the person who you're like immediately. That's why we're 1 hour in and we're just not bringing her up. Where you're immediately going and finding her name on a draw. Excuse me.
Yeah. And people make it seem like I am just being the harshest person in the world when I say she doesn't have personality that draws you in. But I'm not the only person. She when when you actually have the television on her, like when they pan to a match, and if you allow yourself to sit there and be engaged in a Rabakana match, like, oh, she plays damn good tennis. Like, it's just it's effortless. It's effortless big babe tennis. There's no fuss about it. She goes to the corner, she hits big serves, and I like that, but she brings absolutely nothing else. And that is where I'm kind of like, it's like, if she wins the second Grand Slam, are we even going to get a fist bump?
I think she did like half of a fist bump when she won Wimbledon that year. So probably not. You're right. Like, listen, the ball striking is amazing and really beautiful to watch. But yeah, some players really bring you in, and some players literally seem like they're trying their best not to let you in. And she's closer to the latter, but we shall see. Either way, I can't say it enough. I'm genuinely excited for this slam, and I
hope it's a good AO. Honest, I really do.
I do too. I honestly, the Australian Open is normally some of the best tennis I think of the year. The players come out, they're usually pretty fresh and healthy, and so I'm always looking forward to the Australian Open this year. Maybe because I was a little bit sick, I haven't been. Now after this conversation, I must say I am much more excited, Myles. So thank you for getting me into, slam mode here.
I am excited to do that, and I'm excited to be buckled in for yet another AO. One of these days, we're going to be down there covering it, my friend. So we're going to have all the good, happy slam vibes. Both of us, absolutely. We're going to be right next to each other in like a room.
That's right.
With our mics,
girl,
giving the girls all they can handle. Mm-hmm. I meant to say this earlier, and this will segue into something else I wanted to close out with. Sloane looks beautiful in that yellow dress. Sloane is just, God really did their big one when they created Sloane and put on her tennis court. If I could just shake her a little bit more. I actually think she saw one of my earlier videos I did with Christian's court, because I said I wanted her to be comeback player of the year. If I could just shake her and tell her that she still has good tennis left in her. If you saw that, Sloane, don't take it as a personal dig. Keep playing good tennis, mama. We see you. We see you. Came from qualifying. You're playing Pliskova in the first round. Who even knows if Pliskova is going to take the court? Do your big one, Sloane. But I mentioned Sloane to go to broadcasting, because I think Sloane has a wonderful career in broadcasting. ESPN is going to be showing Australian Open for like the umpteenth time in their existence. But they did do a little switch up. They did a little switch up. I don't know if you saw a little of this little stuff going on social, but it seems like they have gotten rid of Brad Gilbert, Pam Shriver.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know, that's fine. Brad Gilbert, he said in his own tweet, it's been a good 23-something year run. Good job, Brad. Great check. Pam, I don't think Pam was necessarily doing anything bad with her commentary. I actually like and get along pretty good with Pam. We've been on Twitter Spaces together. She's a wonderful woman. But I don't think she was bringing the space down. So her not being asked to come back with her contract, whatever, was a little surprising. And then also, they haven't made their own statements like Pam and Brad Gilbert did on Twitter. But Darren Cahill and Renee Stubbs, who are coincidentally also Australian, weren't in the introduction of the broadcast team for AO at ESPN this year. So I'm wondering if their contracts weren't renewed or they weren't invited back. So I think that's a little interesting. I think a little.
Yeah, I think of all of them, the only person, I mean, I like Renee Stubbs calling matches. I find her to always, she's very good when it comes to like strategy. I think she really knows tennis. But of those four, if I had to say, the only one that really makes me kind of scratch my head is Pam Shriver. I am a big Pam Shriver fan. In fact, I remember meeting Pam Shriver with you at the US Open in 2022.
We did. Oh my gosh.
Yes, you stopped. I think you may have already, I don't know if you knew her at that point or not.
Yes, we had spoken on Twitter Spaces. Yeah.
Yeah, you took a picture with her and had a little bit moment with her. And I just told her, like, oh my God, Pam, I love seeing Pam running around the grounds at tournaments. It's like I love Pam Shriver. I live for Pam. So I'm sad that she's not going to be covering it. And I think, she has a lot of other stuff going on always, but I'm down to follow wherever Pam goes, because I find her to be kind of a kooky, fun, almost aunt type vibe,
Yeah, cool auntie vibes. Yeah. I get it.
And so I'm sad to see her go Brad Gilbert with all due. You know what I mean? Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. If I don't have to hear one more nickname, I will be thrilled. I won't miss
The
Brad
fear
Gilbert at all.
hand.
Yeah, I won't miss Brad Gilbert at all. We've all been saying they're never getting rid of the McEnroe brothers, it seems. But we've all been saying we want some fresh new blood. So maybe this is a start. But I was a little surprised. Darren Cahill, kind of give or take for me. But yeah, I was most surprised, honestly, by the Brad Gilbert and Pam Shriver drops.
Well, one of those four also have me blocked on Twitter, but I'm not going to say any names.
Ooh, okay. God, do I need to be meaner on Twitter? I don't even know. How do you know if people blocked you?
You interact with them, and then one day you're blocked. That's how I go sometimes. It's like, what I did to you? I haven't I could do something. Never mind.
Well, here's what I'll say to that. That's why on Twitter, especially in the last couple of years, I do a lot of just like tweeting and leaving. I don't respond to people.
Yeah.
I don't get into back and forths because I have too much anxiety. I'll be in the corner crying. So I got to really protect myself because I don't have the gumption that I think, that I might act like I do on Twitter. So I
feel you on that. And I feel that's where, unfortunately, I have to tell myself to I have to hit myself on the hand and be like, Myles, stop responding sometimes. But I can have a quick wit. So if you say something that is like a little, testy, imagine if we were at a dinner table at a Real Housewives scene. I wouldn't sit there quiet. I wouldn't sit there like Kim Fields.
Right.
I would have something to say. So
poor Kim Fields all these years later. No, I hear you. I think you're always getting the conversation started on Twitter. So I always get a good chuckle.
They hate it or love it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think the conversation around AO is going to be a good one. And I hope we get some really, really memorable matches because Lord knows we did last year. I think we did. Madison Keys pulled that forward, but we got some memorable moments at the AO. And who's to say we won't get a Cinderella run from somebody on either side on the men's draw or the women's draw this year? I think it could happen.
I hope so.
I think very quickly before we officially sign off, I think we should list off the round one matches that we are going to be set for because we have at least, I think we have like 10 that I wrote down here. Some of them you might not agree with. Some of them you're like, cool, I'll run and go get my ESPN Plus subscription for that. Or if you're in Australia and listening to this, you're going to actually be set for it.
Run through them and I'll give you my quick 1 or 2 word response.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's do it. Hot potato style.
you can go on, you give your thoughts as well, but I'll give something quick.
Okay, cool. Let's do Hubie Hurkacz versus Zizou Bergs.
Well, I said I was going to be short. This one for me. I have said I think that sleeveless shirts are the new shorts for 2026. Hubie Hurkacz's comeback ripped. He hurt his knee and I guess did nothing but bicep curls while he was out. Zizou Bergs has been twerking and dancing throughout Australia. I think these are two kind of suddenly interesting players in 2026. I think Hubie Hurkacz will win this, but I think it'll be a battle to the death.
I'm rooting for Zizou Bergs. I think there's something there. We'll talk offline.
Agreed.
Grigor Dimitrov versus Thomas Mahash. We mentioned that a little bit earlier. I think that'll be a good one. Any thoughts that you didn't share?
Yeah, this feels like a match that Thomas Mahash should win and will find a way to lose.
I agree. I think Grigor Dimitrov will absolutely get the win, and probably not should have, but he will. Matchup I think I'll be set for and would definitely go to Diana Schneider versus Barbora Krejcikova. Ooh, the silence was so loud. My God.
I'm gonna leave that there. Babs doesn't. I put her a little bit under the Rybakina category. I'll leave that there.
That's fair. And she was in your little ethos of 2021 that you just couldn't stand women's tennis. That's where she broke through. So I get it. Alex de Minaur versus Matteo Berrettini. We mentioned them earlier. I think that could go 5 because if Berrettini just swings freely, he can send Alex de Minaur scrambling. But of course, the crowd's going to be on de Minaur's side tenfold. But it's there. They're their names in the ATP Tour that deserve some recognition, I think. So there's that.
And they're fun to watch.
Yeah, and Berrettini can poke his chest out, and I like that.
Exactly.
Venus versus Olga Danilovic, kind of a toss-up. Don't know. Danilovic obviously has a edge, maybe the whole edge. It's still Venus Williams. People are going to clap and watch that match.
I will.
Yeah, I will too. And I think it's Sunday. Sunday AO time, which means Saturday evening US time.
Lord.
So mark your calendars while you're listening to this. Wawrinka versus Jerry. That's going to go 5 sets, like we said earlier. Something that could go 5 sets, and this is Guy Monfils's last AO. He takes on Sweeney of Australia, aka who is that? Not sure who that gentleman is. Sorry to Mr. Sweeney, but Monfils plays interesting matches, and I would not be shocked if his last one in AO is interesting. So I threw that one on the list.
I feel like he goes 5 a lot, so I can see it. Exactly. I hope he wins. I want to see Monfils win a few matches before he retires from, at least from AO.
I agree. I'm on board with that. Drama potential here, because it's Putintseva, and she can find drama in the back of a church. Putintseva versus Haddad Maia.
Oh gosh, that match is definitely going to be dramatic. Are you joking? And take forever. Go there if you're like a marathon runner. That I think that could be like literally a 3-hour. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'd need to have a few drinks to go sit and watch that one live.
There's also Haley Baptiste versus Marketa Vondrousova. If Vondrousova actually plays, because she pulled out of her warm up like after a match or something. So, and she's
that would be fun though. That would be a good. It would be fun. I would be sat for that one for sure.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of different angles and like different spins on the ball on that one, I think, because Baptiste is crafty too. And then the last one I had is Alicia Parks versus Alex Ayala, if Parks can actually keep the ball in play.
Wait, how did I miss this? I missed this first round match. I think Alex Ayala is going to have a big year. I think she'll win that match. But okay, I did not know those two would be playing. That's one where I would probably wait and see if it went to a third set. Then maybe I would tune in. That could get wild.
But you got to be quick, because Alicia Parks may miss the whole entire court in the third set. So you got to get there.
Goodness gracious.
Ayala brings the emotions in the match. And I think Australia has a pretty decent Filipino community.
Oh yeah, she's gonna get
at least Asian. Yeah, like that Asian part of the world really backs Ayala, as they should. And I think they're gonna be in Australia rooting for her well. So that could be a very vibey match. And then her matches throughout the tournament could be very vibey as well. Especially if they put her like on one of those. I don't think it's called Hisense Arena anymore. Maybe it's like John Kane or John Kane, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. But that could be interesting. So yeah, those are the first round matches that I kind of pulled out. Like, oh, okay.
Those are good.
Going. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's the end of our AO preview, friend.
Oh my gosh, we made it.
We did. Is this where we tell people where to find us while we're giving our thoughts and opinions on
Let's
social
do it. Let's wrap it up. Myles, we can help close each other out. Myles, tell everybody where they can find you and your Australian Open coverage.
I will be on your social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. All across those at Tuned Into Tennis. You may agree with what I say on there. You may not. But let's have respectful dialogue. Maybe even funny dialogue. But that's where you'll find me. And you may see my face a lot throughout the 2 weeks. I'm going to try to put my thoughts and opinions out there.
I hope so.
Oh, and serve on SI. I just dropped an article about the last Australian Open of Stan Wawrinka and Gael Monfils. I'm a contributing writer for Serve on SI. So if you are one of those people that still likes to read articles, I'll be dropping a couple throughout AO. So keep your eyes open for that.
Congratulations. Gosh, that's exciting. That's a big deal, Myles. So I will definitely be following you along there. And if you want to follow along with me and all the mess I'm doing on social media, I usually do a bunch of messy polls during the Australian Open on Instagram.
You're great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Try to have some fun on Twitter while we can. So follow along at the Gay Tennis Pod. And I'm really excited to see what comes this Australian Open, because like you said, last year brought a lot of memes and good times and a lot of good quality matches. So yeah, it should be fun.
let's get messy in Melbourne.
Yes, sir. All right,
I
thank
just
you,
made that up.
Myles.
Remember when Serena's mom told Serena get out of Melbourne, that Australian Open? Do you remember that?
No.
I'm gonna go. I'm see if I can find the clip. It
Find
was
that
one
clip. Post it.
2007 match. She was like, "Get out of Melbourne," because she was so far
Lord.
back on the baseline.
Oh my God. Wait, I think I do remember this. God, wasn't there a Nadia Petrova
That she did play Nadia
2007
Petrova.
match?
Yes.
I
Yeah,
remember thinking she was so
did.
close to losing that match. That 2007 run. God,
Iconic.
the best.
If you know, you know. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching and listening us. Oh my God, this is a terrible way to end the pod, but you've gotten this far. Thanks for listening to our voices. Talk to us throughout the AO. Enjoy yourself and happy AO, guys. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.